Good afternoon. Welcome to Eretz Yisrael. I'm R Avraham Shira. We have a little Erev Shabbat talk. It's a very interesting idea that I think connects to Shabbat. The idea is about nothingness. I'm nothing. You're nothing. It's all nothing. You ever hear that kind of talk? We think nothing is a put down. I think it's something that's not good. That we all want to be something. We want to be somebody. The Kabbalah comes along and says, Ma'ayin timatzeh, from where will you find your help? Of course, we know the answer, Hashem, the great creator of the universe. But if you read the verse a little differently, you pause after the first word, Ma'ayin timatzeh, and you play a little switcheroo between the ayin and the aleph, the letter in the word Ma'ayin. From where will my help come? If you put an aleph in it, it's me'ayin, from nothingness. Me'ayin, because ayin means nothing. From ayin, timatzeh, from the nothingness, you will find your creator. So, a lot of us set out a long time ago to find the truth in this world. We weren't born with the Torah. We set out and ended up in Israel, ended up in Jerusalem, ended up in yeshiva, and we're learning Torah day and night, and we're looking for God. It's the classic grand cliche. We spend our lives looking for God, and then you find out that He's already been inside you the whole way. But how do we find Him? If we're searching for Him and He's inside us, how do we find Him? Me'ayin, from the nothing, from the nothingness. That if we can reach that point where I see that I am really nothing, not from a put down, from a place that God is in everything, creating everything, animating everything. Every moment of every life in the history of the human race. Where is man? Where is man? If all my goodness is from Him, and all the negative is a twisted version of the goodness, where are we? We disappear into the definition. We disappear into the nothing, because all our goodness is clearly from Hashem, and the negative that we've spun out of the good, that becomes our responsibility to fix. But do I identify with it? Am I a bad guy trying to do good? Or are we really good people trying to avoid the negative? Aseh tov. Sor me'ra ve'aseh tov, right? The verse tells us from King Solomon, the first part of the verse is go away from not good and do good. So when we go away from the good, we're already ready to receive the good. And so when we go to the nothing, when I'm nothing, then we make room for the something, the true something of the universe. Now, it's a subtle thought, because, at the moment that we start thinking about ourselves, we're being something again. And the moment we allow ourselves to disappear into that it's all Hashem, we have to enter the nothing. So what God gives us is the gift of Shabbat. Shabbat we see as a gift because the world would not necessarily rest if you didn't tell them to. The human race would go on and on and on, working 24/7 every week of a person's life. And God says, no, stop. Stop working. Stop being who you are all week long. Be somebody else. Be my representative. Be my child. Be my beloved. Be my friend. Be my brother. But stop being a working being that's constantly in pursuit of something for myself. Make Shabbats about something else. And when we pass through this evening, the weekday into the Shabbat, it's like you never walk through a gate. You ever notice in a gate, like the Shar Yafo in Jerusalem, it's just a big stone gate. But when you walk through it, you feel the difference because, the Mishnah tells us we're walking into a holier zone. And the Mishnah and Midot tells us that there are 10 levels of holiness in Eretz Yisrael. Each time we walk through another zone, we enter a holier place. When we enter Shabbat, we're entering a holier time. And so that transition is where we can find out where the nothing is. Now, the Maggid of Mezrich, the great Dov Ber, he said like this: there's an egg, and it becomes a chicken. But there's a place where the egg is no longer an egg, but it's not yet a chicken. That moment where the egg is not an egg and it's not a chicken, it's in transformation, that's the moment of the nothing. So when we can understand that for a minute, wait a minute, I was me, I'm going to be something, but the moment I'm not me, I become something else. I'm no longer an egg, I'm going to become a chicken. I hope not. Menachem, are you okay with that? It's that transition. That's where the growth is. That's where the change is. That's where the weekday becomes Shabbat. That's where I can taste something of the beauty of the disappearance into the nothing and taste the awesomeness of the true something of the universe, our Creator, the Blessed Holy One. And we should all be blessed with a moment like that on Shabbat. Just one moment. Because your own mind will switch back to the something. And so what Rabbi Nachman teaches us is that it's a constant dance, back and forth. You're something? No, I'm really nothing. It's all God. No, you're something. No, it's really, and back and forth we go. And some people get a little bit troubled by that transition back and forth, but actually it's a staircase. We don't stay in the same place. Each time we go to nothing and become something new, we're going up the staircase towards Hashem. So we should all be blessed with that moment of nothing that leads to the true something, and allow ourselves to drop the poses. We spoke this week about the word pose. Everybody's doing selfies and posing for something, right? And if I'm always posing for something, who am I? Well, I'm a poser, right? God forbid. But really, what we really are representatives of the true something of the universe, and that's where we gain our true identity. Not in my wealth or in my status or not even in my nationhood. I'm a Jew, but even if I'm a Jew, how many levels of Jew are there? Until we get to the place of nothing, the pure nothing, the nothing that leads to the totality, the inclusive light of the universe. And once you taste it, you'll never be the same. And you can taste it on Shabbat especially. So God bless you all. We'll see you on all the platforms next week. We'll continue with Torah 80 and Likutei Moharan. We'll be on YouTube, Facebook, and Patreon, and probably a few other places if I get around to learning how to use this computer. But nonetheless, it'll be great to see you. Have a great Shabbat. All the best.